Ye heavens, hear what things I shall speak. The earth, hear the words of my mouth. My teaching wax altogether as rain. My speech flow out as dew, as soft rain upon herb, and as drops upon grass. For I shall inwardly call the name of the Lord. Give ye glory to our God. The works of God be perfect, and all his ways be dooms. God is faithful, and without any wickedness. He is just and rightful. They sinned against him, and not his sons in the filths of idolatry, shrewd and wayward generation. Whether thou yieldest these things to the Lord, thou fond people and unwise, whether he is not thy father, that wielded thee, and made, and formed thee of naught, have thou mind of eld days, think thou all generations, ask thy father, and he shall tell to thee, ask thy greater men, and they shall say to thee. When the highest parted folks, when he separated the sons of Adam, he ordained the terms of peoples by the number of the sons of Israel. Forsooth, the part of the Lord is his people. Jacob is the little part of his heritage. The Lord found him in a desert land, in the place of horror, either hideousness and of waste wilderness. The Lord led him about and taught him, and he kept him as the apple of his eye, as an eagle stirring his birds to fly, and flying above them. He spreaded forth his wings, and took them into his protection, and he bare them in his shoulders. The Lord alone was leader, and none alien God was with him. The Lord ordained him on an high land, that he should eat the fruits of fields, that he should suck honey of a stone, and of the hardest rock, butter of the drove, and milk of the sheep, with the fatness of lambs and of rams, of the sons of Bashan, and that he should eat kids with marrow, or tried flour of wheat, and he should drink the clearest blood, or wine of the grape. The beloved people was made fat, and kicked against, made fat without forth, made fat within, and enlarged. He forsook God his Maker, and went away from God his help, or his Savior. They stirred God to wrath in alien gods that they praised. They stirred him to wrathfulness in their abominations, that is, their own findings. They offered to fiends or devils, and not to God, to gods which they knew not, new gods, and freshly came up by their findings, which their fathers worshipped not. Thou hast forsaken God that begat thee. Thou hast forsaken the Lord Creator of the Lord thy Maker. The Lord saw that, and he was stirred to wrathfulness, for his sons and daughters stirred him to vengeance. And the Lord said, I shall hide my face from them, and I shall behold their last things, for this is a wayward generation, and unfaithful sons they be. They have stirred me to wrath in worshipping him that was not God, and they have moved me to vengeance in their vain idols. And I shall stir them in him that is not a people, and I shall stir them to ire in a fond folk. Fire is kindled in my strong vengeance, and it shall burn under the last things of hell, and it shall devour the land with its fruit, and it shall burn the foundaments of hills. I shall gather evils on them, and I shall fill mine arrows in them. They shall be wasted with hunger, and birds shall devour them with most bitter biting. I shall send them into the teeth of beasts, with the strong vengeance of drawing upon earth, and of serpents. Swords without, and dread within, shall waste them. A young man and a virgin together, a suckling child with an eld man. And I said, where be they now? I shall make the mind or memory of them to cease of all men. But I delayed, or tarried, for the wrath of enemies, lest peradventure their enemies should be proud and say, our high hand, and not the Lord's, did all these things. It is a folk without counsel, and without prudence, or wariness. I would that they savored and understood, and purveyed the last things. How pursued one man of enemies 1,000 of Jews, and 2 men drove away 10,000. Wherefore not therefore, for their God had sold them, forsaking them, and the Lord had enclosed them altogether in their enemies' hands. For our God is not as the gods of them, and our enemies be judges. The vine of them is of the vine of Sodom, and of the suburbs of Gomorrah. The grape of them is the grape of gall, and the cluster is most bitter. The gall of dragons is the wine of them, and the venom of adders that may not be healed. Whether these things be not hid with me, and be sealed in my treasuries? Vengeance is mine, and I shall yield to them in time, that the foot of them slide. The day of perdition is nigh, and the times hasten to be present. The Lord shall deem his people, and he shall do mercy in his servants. The people shall see that the hand of fighters is sick or feeble, and also men enclosed failed, and the remnant people or left be wasted. And they shall say, where be their gods, in which they had trust, of whose sacrifices they ate the fatnesses, and they drank the wine of flowing sacrifices? Rise they, and help you, and defend they you in need. See or understand ye, that I am God alone, and none other God is except me. I shall slay, and I shall make to live. I shall smite, and I shall make whole, and none is that may deliver from mine hand. And I shall raise up mine hand to heaven, and I shall say, I live without end. If I shall whet my sword as lightning, and mine hand shall take doom, I shall yield vengeance to thine enemies, and I shall requite to them that hate me. I shall fulfill mine arrows with blood, and my sword shall devour fleshes of the blood of them that be slain, and of the captivity of the heads of enemies made naked. Folks, praise ye the people of him, for he shall avenge the blood of his servants, and he shall yield vengeance to the enemies of them, and he shall be merciful to the land of his people. Therefore Moses came, and spake all the words of this song in the ears of the people, both he and Joshua, the son of Nun. And Moses fulfilled all these words, and spake to all Israel, and said to them, put ye your hearts into all the words which I witness to you today, that ye command to your sons to keep and to do those, and to fulfill all things that be written in the book of this law. For not in vain things be commanded to you, but that all men should live in doing those things, which if ye shall do, then ye shall abide, and shall continue long time in the land, to which ye shall enter to wield, when Jordan ye have overpassed. And the Lord spake to Moses in the same day, and said, go thou up into this hill Abarim, that is passing, into the hill of the land of Canaan, which I shall give to the sons of Israel to hold, and die thou there in this hill, into which hill thou shalt go up, and thou shalt be joined to thy peoples, as Aaron thy brother was dead in the hill of Hor, and was put to his peoples. For ye trespassed against me in the midst of the sons of Israel, at the waters of Againsain, in Kadesh, in the desert of Zin, and ye hallowed not me among the sons of Israel. Opposite, thou shalt see the land, and thou shalt not enter into it, which I shall give to the sons of Israel.